I've heard that from industry a lot, that they appreciate questions. And, they'd like students to ask good questions. And so it's a little bit counterintuitive, I think, for many students because they don't want to bother their workplace by asking too many questions.
I feel the same way.
Hello, my name is Helen Kobrč, and I'm a Co-op Internship Coordinator with the Technology Portfolio at the Camosun College. I have the pleasure of speaking with Sofia Lavin today about her experience in cooperative education. Sofia, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm from Spain, and I came here to do the mechanical engineering diploma here at Camosun. I did it at Nicholson Manufacturing, focusing on developing and manufacturing debarkers. I was part of the engineering team. One of my main tasks there was I did an assembly, which is like a lot of parts together. That's how you make a debarker. And I did models of these debarkers, and they use these models for an animation to show people how the debarker works and all the parts inside of it.
To do that work, what are the most important skills?
First of all, communication is really important. When you don't know anything about something, you need to ask. If you get stuck, you need to ask somebody who knows. I had to talking to lots of different people, lots of different engineers who taught me the ways of how Mentor works. Sometimes it is not always a good way to ask, because you need to figure it out your own way. You need to overcome challenges. I would try to fix the problem.
I'm actually really excited that you say that, because that is one of the skills that I'd also heard from industry, and not just communication skills, but specifically how to ask good questions.
Oh, yes.
I've actually implemented some learning around that, or teaching and learning around that in the CDEV class. Were there other skills that were important?
Well, of course, engineering skills are important. You need to know a little bit about engineering drawings, properly read a part or an assembly. You're going to need engineer knowledge. I'm really glad I took a signing class, basically, where I was taught a lot of engineering drawings. So that gave me like a little bit of knowledge in this area to understand what I was looking at.
I feel like attention to detail must be so crucial. Can you tell?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Many times, for example, when I did this assembly for this animation, and they sent it to the animation team was like, this is wrong. There's something wrong here. I didn't pay attention to the details, and there was like parts on top of parts. They were like overlapping, and it was like totally wrong. So I had to fix that and send it back.
So what I'm hearing as well now is another skill that's important.
Yes.
Is to receive feedback. If this is a skill, holding your head up high when you make a mistake.
The only way to learn something is through mistakes. You're not gonna get it right the first time, of course. A simple thing, I did a mistake 3 times and had to like redo it 3 times. First, I was a little scared to ask questions, right? But after being stuck multiple times and asking questions lots of times, you just get used to like, hey, could you help me?
It is great to hear you say that, because I've heard that from industry a lot, that they appreciate questions. And, they'd like students to ask good questions. And so it's a little bit counterintuitive, I think, for many students, because they don't want to bother their workplace by asking too many questions.
I feel the same way.
Employers have told me 2 things, is by asking questions, you can actually help shine a light, expose sort of a deficiency or some sort of unknown, because you're a fresh set of eyes and you ask a question, and sometimes workplaces had never asked themselves that question. And secondly, it really shows your desire to engage and do a good job. And I think employers really appreciate that with co-op students, as well as the whole learning intentionality. Tell us about what you think you did right in terms of securing a position like this.
Everybody talks about they want to do the co-op, but getting a co-op is the hard work. So there's many ways you can get a co-op through the Camosun board. That's the way I got my co-op. But of course, to get a co-op, you need a good resume and a good cover letter, because we're all the same in the classroom, right? We've done the same classes, same assignments.
Right.
I joined a club. You could learn a lot from there. I didn't have any experience. I didn't have any job experience, anything. What really stand out for me was the volunteering.
What advice do you have for students that are trying to level up?
Never give up, okay? If you want to do the co-op, you have to try. Keep going, build some networking, build some skills, build some background.
Put yourself out there, show initiative. Figure out what makes yourself your unique self, and figure out how to express that to folks. I just think your story is amazing. Thank you, Sofia, for your confidence, your courage, and for sharing your story with me today.
Well, thank you for inviting me here. It's very lovely.
Thanks for listening to Career Talk, and see you again in a future episode.